Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the YMCA of the Capital Area's annual meeting. This year, we will celebrate the results of 2015 in the 99th year of service to this community. So thank you for joining us tonight. At the Y, we always begin every meeting with a prayer or a devotion or a higher thought, or sometimes known as a testimony. So tonight I'm going to ask the Reverend Ron Sutton to come forward and help us begin our program tonight.
Let us pray. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. All wise and everlasting Father, you are the creator and the sustainer of the universe, the maker of every good and perfect gift. We come with humble hearts and gratitude to say thank you for your many blessings you bestowed upon us. Our health, our strength, our families, our country, our state, our communities. And we come thanking you for the YMCA, for the many years that they've nurtured, taught Christian values and principles to so many, and helped them go on to become productive citizens throughout this country and this world. As we come down, we want to thank you for the directors of each facility, the board members, the family and friends that have come, and all the volunteers down through the years. Lord, we're grateful, and we are forever mindful that without you we could do nothing. Bless the food we're about to receive, and bless those that prepared it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Tonight is a celebration of the past year, 2015, and the past 99 years of serving this community. The Y's theme tonight is painting a brighter future. At the Y, lives are being changed throughout our programs and our services, thanks to your contributions and your volunteering and helping our organization grow and thrive. Let's celebrate the past year and the bright future of the Y. I'm going to start off with a couple of videos. So direct your attention to the screens in the front and back.
My name is Donnie Hutchinson, and I go to AC Lewis Branch. I've been a member here since 1970, 45 years. I feel like it has kept me healthy. I'm 83 years old, and I've made wonderful friends.
I'm Don Hutchinson. I am a retired chemical engineer. I guess I've been retired, 20 years now? We come every weekday. I feel like it keeps me in good physical condition. I feel good, and I think that's a part of the reason that I feel good is because I come to the Y.
And I'm a proud member of the ExxonMobil Y. I've been a member there for going on 4 years, and what makes it very important and special to me is a personal story. I am from a family with a history of hypertension and cardiac issues, and I, through the efforts of going to the Y on a regular basis, found that it has done enormous benefits for me. My physician is really pleased. I've lost nearly 50 pounds. I'm an academic advisor at LSU, was advisor of the year in 2011, and then got national recognition in 2012. I love academic advising. One of the things that I really like about that ExxonMobil is when my students say, Miss Annette, you really look good. You're looking younger. When you've been a counselor for over 20 years, that's better than a raise. It's one of the many reasons why I love the ExxonMobil YMCA.
Just a few of the wonderful testimonies that you'll hear tonight. I mean, it is about celebrating what you do and seeing your good work come in through these videos. The other piece of our evening is to also recognize outstanding service by branch volunteers and other volunteers who have helped us throughout the year. So our first volunteer that we're going to recognize is a gentleman by the name of Ed Grant. Ed Grant was a longtime community leader. He believed very much in community service. He probably served on more boards than most people in their lifetime, and he did that on an annual basis. We were fortunate enough to have his service at our YMCA, and during that time, he was so revered and appreciated that we decided after his passing that we would have a volunteer award in his name. It is now my honor to present that award in Mr. Grant's name for volunteerism. And this award is given for Mr. Grant, who was a former Metro Board Chair as well as a recognized leader of volunteer services in our community. This year's award honors an individual who has been waiting to serve on the YMCA board since he was a child. Yes, since he was a child, he was waiting to serve. He just didn't realize it. He remembers his father rallying support for a YMCA in exactly many years. Later, he is happy to serve on the first board of the Americana YMCA. This recipient has been an instrumental part not only of putting the board together through its development, working in its capital campaign, and also as an avid supporter of our tennis program. He also currently serves, and we had lunch with him today at our Finance Committee meeting today at lunchtime. He is the Finance Chair of the Americana YMCA. He's also a member and a contributor to our annual support campaign. This recipient is also involved in several other community nonprofits, like most of our volunteers. We appreciate you not only serving us, but serving them as well. He always finds time to volunteer for anything that is needed at the Y. It is my privilege and pleasure to award this year's Edward Grant Volunteerism Award to, and before I do that, I'm going to ask Lance Kinchin to come forward and grab the award. And we're going to ask each of the recipients, part of the other feedback we got was asking the recipients to come up on stage so that people can get photos. This year's recipient is John Staff. John is joined tonight by his dad and his mom, and his dad, as he mentioned, was very supportive of the first try of the Y in Jackson in 1980. Welcome to you all tonight. Glad you come out and support your son as well. We're going to show you a couple more videos just to give you another flavor of all the good work that you do.
My name is Charlie Kahn. I'm CEO of the Regal Now Salon and Spa. I attend the YMCA downtown Baton Rouge, and our corporate attend the YMCA at Government and Foster. Healthy body is a happy body. So that's the reason why we send an entire team, staff, to exercise every morning. So that's our motivation program to increase the productivity for the corporate level. Every year we do the charity program for the Y, and last year we helped 50 children learn how to swim. Each of them, I think, we about $100 per child. So we help at the corporate level. We share our fortune with the community, and we want them to be healthier. And that's our responsibility for the community.
We have an opportunity opportunity to spend quality time with the kids at the YMCA, whether we're in the swimming pool or we're at the park or whether we're just in the gym goofing around. It also gives us an opportunity to, maybe my wife and I, spend some time together while we exercise. YMCA has a great staff. They have a child care where we can put our kids in there while we exercise. Also can let the kids have birthday parties at the YMCA. So it's a wonderful opportunity, and I tell anybody, if you have the chance, join the Y, because it's a great opportunity to be a part of something very special. Also, as you can see by my shirt, I'm a volunteer coach at the YMCA. Been coaching youth sports for 20 years. I spend about 36, 37 weeks of the 52 at the YMCA coaching kids. Great opportunity to give them a chance to learn some life skills by participating in athletics. Also, they have a chance to learn how to play whatever sport they participate in.
Lance Kinchin, Metro Board Chair, and I'm excited to be here tonight. I see a lot of familiar faces in the audience, and this event has really grown over the last few years, so it's great to see everybody in the audience. The stories we have had the opportunity to hear tonight are the true mission of the Y, but that mission cannot come to life without the volunteers who help support the Y's efforts. Last year, 2,898 volunteers gave 23,237 hours of service to the Y. Let us give a round of applause for all those volunteers. At this time, I would like to recognize the YMCA Branch Volunteers of the Year. As I call your name, please come forward and accept your reward. Please remain at the front for a photo. Help me out. All right. The Barranco Park YMCA Branch Volunteer of the Year is Will Robbins. Will? Our next volunteers from the C.B. Pennington YMCA, the Branch Volunteer of the Year is Thomas Skelly. Our next volunteer is from the Charles Lamar Branch. Volunteer of the Year is Rose Willis. Our next Branch Volunteer of the Year is from the Dow Westside Branch, Megan Cias. Our next Volunteer of the Year is from the ExxonMobil Branch, Gregory Williams. Our next volunteer award goes for the Paula Manship YMCA, Laura Patterson. And last but certainly not least, our last volunteer of the year award goes to the Southside YMCA branch, Jeremy Coco.
His name is Eric. He's 11 years old. The first day I took him, I went to pick him up. He was ecstatic. I mean, it was the best decision I realized that I made because he was just so happy. He was like, Mom, can I go the whole summer? It initially didn't start out with him going the whole summer. It was only supposed to be maybe 3 or 4 weeks because, I was just trying to do something for him for summer. But he went swimming, the board games, basketball, they went to the zoo, they went to museums, and he just basically loved the staff. I could not get him to miss a day. That was the thing. I could not get him to miss a day. And what helped out a lot too was the financial assistance that I received from the Y, because other than that I wouldn't have been able to send him. The cost of the camp was approximately like $140 a week. So I just wrote down what I was experiencing at that time, so forth for my finances. I just filed for bankruptcy. So I wrote down everything, and maybe about 2 days later, I got an answer that I qualified for financial assistance.
And I'm a member of the YMCA and often attend A.C. Lewis YMCA on Foster and Government Street in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So since I was 4 or 5, I've been a part of the Y. The Y has been a part of me. We're a social service organization, so we offer help and assistance and care, really, and love to infants all the way to the elderly. The YMCA is a religious nonprofit organization. I mean, it's the Young Men's Christian Association, and it's really hard to go into a place that's overtly religious. I mean, it's in our name, but that when you're in it, you don't feel any sort of religious pressure. But I always feel such a familiarity of the YMCA, and I think the love the love and concern pervades throughout the YMCA, and I think that's similar to the love of Jesus Christ, I guess. It's hard to really define. It's always there, and it's hard not to want to really give to it.
Good evening, I'm Chris Spencer, and I'm the Metro Finance Chair for the YMCA. And I have the honor tonight to share some numbers with you, so try not to fall asleep while I make it quick. It's my pleasure to be here tonight. I'm going to present the 2015 Finance Report for the Association. If you'll follow along with us, we'll put on the slides on your screen. On the revenue side, the association brought in revenues of $13,875,671 and expenses of $13,870,952 with a surplus of $4,720. We funded our reserves in the amount of $676,944. We funded the building fund by $851,725, which is used to service our bond. On the expense side, as of December 31st, 2015, our balance in that fund was $6,416,142. We funded the I Need Fund by $46,128. And in contribution, we brought in over $577,651 on a budget of $543,900. All money was allocated to the branches for scholarships, sort of like the testimony that you saw tonight. At this time, we will return to some video testimonies. Thank you.
My name is Tamara Manfredo, and I'm a junior at St. Joseph's. I go to the summer camp with the Y. I'm CIT counselor in training. It's a counselor in training. Basically, you're helping the counselors with whatever they ask the kids to do.
They always get excited when we play games and everything, and they always just look like they're having a good ton of fun. It just gives you great connections with the kids, and I know in the future I want to be a counselor so I can have a job. And
It's more than the service hours because you feel like you're part of the family. So our required hours at school are only 50 to 20. How many is it?
15.
But I know last summer I got 140. So
I got 200 and something.
I just really helping with the summer camp. So.
My name is Milo Kleinpeter. I attend the YMCA on Perkins Road by Star Lane, and I like the Y because they're real friendly people, and everybody's out there that work with you and will help make you better. They just work hard for you. I had a stroke. Back in 2011. 2011, I had a stroke. I got home from football practice. I coached high school football, and I got home. Walked to my room, and I just fell and couldn't get in no house. I used the Y because I wouldn't have gotten as far with this if I just went home after it was over with. I wanted to get better because I knew that I'm not going to stay in that house. I'm not going to do it. I'm getting back to Milo now. I'm getting back to doing things I used to do. So the Y has been helpful that at the end of the day, they want that for me too. So it's a good thing.
It brings us to the other major award that we give out honoring Mr. Myron Falk. Myron was a long-time community chest executive, started the community chest, which is today known as the United Way. He also worked at BRAF, and he served on numerous boards. And he was the consummate fundraiser. He believed in building the community $1 at a time. And he believed that nonprofits should raise money and that they should encourage their community to join them in that effort. He always thought that no gift was too small or too large. So this year's award honors an individual who has helped us raise money to support the Y's mission. He's also helped the Y save money by using his skills as a general contractor to help make repairs and improvements. When you have 9 facilities, and some of them range in age from being built in the 60s, that's 1960, to 2016, you can see there's always something that can go wrong at these facilities. It always helps to have a great friend who can look out for us and advise us, as well as great architects that we have on our board, so that we can be good stewards of the money. This individual has spent countless hours a day at the A.C. Lewis YMCA, overseeing a construction program there. And during his time at the Y, he began to learn more about the YMCA and its mission. And it was his love for the Y mission that he graciously accepted and quickly evolved, not only as a volunteer, but evolved into being the YMCA board chair at A.C. Lewis. Since that time, he's also served as the board chair, an annual community support chair, which, by the way, you heard Chris talk about $570-some thousand raised last year, to $580,000 going out to make this mission work in our community. This individual chaired that. You know, no one likes to ask for money, so you can imagine what it's like to be the chair of a group that no one likes to ask for money. But y'all do a wonderful job, and we hope that we can rearm you with the stories that allow you to do good work. This person also worked in that campaign as the major gift chair, and that's any gift $1,000 and up. He not only did it once, but he did it twice. This volunteer believes in serving others and believes he receives more than he gives as a volunteer. We are thankful for all he's done for the Y, and we are honored to present him this award tonight. Plus, it's his birthday. What else do you give someone who has everything? Why don't we welcome John Ryan Nader, the recipient of the Myron Clark Award. John's also joined by his mother, his father, his brother, and his beautiful daughter. Thanks for coming out and sharing this evening with John, and thank you for lending him to us.
My name is James Van Valkenburg, and in March of 2015 I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. And one of the important things that when you have Parkinson's and fighting against it is maintaining regular exercise. And so I've been looking into getting a gym membership somewhere, and I just, I knew I couldn't afford it really, especially for a family membership. And someone told me about the YMCA, about that they offered scholarships, so I checked into it, made a proposal, a request, and sent it in. They quickly responded generously, gave me a partial scholarship, and now for a fraction of the cost, I'm able to have a complete family membership, which is pretty big. I got 8 children, so I have access to a wonderful facility. I go to one on Perkins and Seagan. It's just a beautiful place. There are wonderful people there, staff, the pool, the gym, the exercise room. I go there a lot. And all my 8 children from 3 to 20 years old are doing tennis lessons. They have a daycare. That's beautiful, because sometimes we have to put the 3-year-old and the 6-year-old in the daycare while we go to work out or play tennis. So I like it a lot.
I go to the Dow Y in Addis. When I first started going to the Y, I had a lot of problems with depression, and I couldn't drive myself. My husband drove me there, and I had a heart problem. From then on, it was just a wonder why I did nothing but get better. I was going about a year and 7 months, and I had a heart attack. And I really feel like by the grace of God and most my classes made my heart stronger, and I survived my heart attack. About 6 weeks later, I went to resume my classes. I was really frightened when I first went back, but from the time I walked in that door, I felt, the warmness of the receptionist. Went in my class. She helped me where I knew that she could handle any problem that would come up, and from then on I've done nothing but my heart's getting stronger. It's been 3 years that I had my heart attack, and it's just great. You just feel fellowship when you walk in that Y, and that's why I love it.
As you can see, 2015 was a very successful year by all stretches of the imagination and measurable objectives. But as we begin to look at that bright future and the hard work of our volunteers, looking forward in the 2016 year, which we're currently in, we hope our future will be just as bright. And we think it will be with the many dedicated people like you and the sponsorships and the supporters that we have. I'll call your attention, please take this here. Has all the award winners and all the information about the numbers that we serve, the amounts that we scholarship, as well as recognition of our Cornerstone Endowment folks, as well as all the branch boards and the many, many donors. And if you see a donor in there out in the community, please don't hesitate to thank them, because it's with their help that we're able to make a huge difference in many people's lives. As we continue through 2016, we'll continue to work in the diabetes space and Parkinson's and blood pressure, as well as the STEM program that we've implemented into our after-school program, as well as our summer camps, along with the 5210. We'll also have our signature event later this year, which is our Beyond the Greens golf tournament. This year's 2016 recipient, which we will be announcing in just a second, is currently here with us. And he hopes that you can join us on October the 17th at Santa Maria. This award is given annually to an individual who supports the YMCA throughout the community. He is a community leader and embraces the value of caring, respect, responsibility, and honesty. Our first award winner was Richard Manship. Our second award winner was Walter Mansour. Our next one was Charlie Beluzzo. And last year, the year after that was Gary Sliger, who was involved with Coca-Cola for years. Last year's winner was Jackie Mines. And this year's recipient is in fine company and company in which he is richly earned. And that is Eric Lane with Jerry Lane Enterprises. Thank you, Eric, for agreeing to participate and allowing the Y to honor you. It's through that tournament that we will raise about $60,000 that will go towards scholarshiping individuals in this community. We will continue to celebrate this year and continue to make bright futures, but we also face many challenges. Most recently, you've seen in the papers the restructuring of the United Way, and some agencies will potentially lose funding. Next Tuesday, we will know what the status for our YMCA is. And we look forward to getting that answer so that we can do our best to continue to thrive in this community. With their help, or with all of their help, a little of their help, or none of their help, we will all work together to make sure that we can carry out the legacy that has gone on for 99 years. I hope that you noticed that a lot of these videos, and this wasn't done, on the spur of the moment. Trust me, this thing has been in process for 3 or 4 months. But most recently, in the special session, one of the big challenges that will face the YMCA is the YMCA membership will, for the first time, will be taxed. So I did want to share that with you and kind of a little bit of the insight on that. Many of you might have seen the article in Sunday's paper. There's 193 folks that are being taxed in various ways from all shapes of life. 83 of those have a national recognition to be exempt from some of these taxes, like the Girl Scouts and the Girl Scout cookies, which will now be taxed, the YMCA's membership. But my point on the membership for the YMCA is I don't know of anybody else in this community that runs a health club that scholarships 2,000 of the 12,000 memberships that we have that come to our YMCA. And that's where our why is. To me, you encourage healthy living, and in a state particularly where obesity is so high, diabetes is high, it's kind of penny wise and pound foolish by any stretch of the imagination. But we will work hard in that space to regain our exemption, which is temporarily suspended to 2018. The 5% sales tax will apply to all members, which we'll have to collect from the members. It'll drop down to 3% after 3 months. And if we have any luck in a special session where we talk to this with our legislators, it was done in the last 10 minutes of the special session. Any business takes place after 6 o'clock is no good. And I got to tell you, the first time in 34 years that I've even remotely had any discussion about politics in the country, because we typically try to steer clear and be very inclusive in what we do at the Y. But we will fight hard for this. When this next special session comes up, we realize the crisis our state is in, but it will hit all of us in this room in a number of fronts, just to give you a few ideas. Most of our kids in public school are on free lunch, if not all. Many of our kids in private school, they're not on free lunch, and they're actually being taxed 5% sales tax for the first 3 months and 3%. Your homeowners association dues will be taxed. So a lot of things that, and there's 193 of them, and you don't even want me to get started on that because you do want to get out before midnight. I know that for a fact. I've heard that numerous times. But my point is to say to you is that we work very hard for our tax exemption. And I hope that you will help us communicate that either through your membership voices to your legislator or your senator, realizing that the state is in dire straits, but also understanding that when we incarcerate a kid and put them in there, that's about a $17,000 to $18,000 liability. When we look at the diabetes program that we're working in, pre-diabetes is a $3,500 initiative that we catch it on the front end. Catch it on the back end. Our program is $529, and we can reverse that, help reverse that, particularly those with just an elevated A1C. Those that go into the more severe diabetic, that cost factor to the insurance and your employer is anywhere from $35,000 to $50,000. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to add up children in incarceration and healthy opportunities. Our state might want to consider anybody that tries to take care of their health is to give them an incentive, since we are pretty much one of the most unhealthy states on the planet. But to tax it, particularly for an organization that I feel earns its exemption every day. And we do that not only through the scholarship, some 6,000 people scholarship, and some this year, our new total this year. We will, when we close the campaigns this week and celebrate next Tuesday at our Metro Board meeting, we'll have raised close to $660,000 to go to scholarships in this community. But as we get near the end of tonight, I also want to say to you that next year we won't have an annual meeting. Next year we're going to have a gala, a 100-year gala. So I thank you for coming out tonight. We have another video, and then we have some closing remarks. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank Lance. Lance is in his second year chairing the corporate board. Chris is our finance chair, former chairman, Glenn Hamilton, Ricky Harriman, Andy Blumberg's dad, Barry Blumberg, and many others who have provided great leadership during my time here over the last 20 years of serving with you in making our Y special. So to that end, we'll show this video. I say thank you, and Lance will have our closing remarks.
Several years ago, a 11-year-old boy named Anthony was sitting on his bed playing with his pet chicken. I can only imagine that chicken brought him a certain amount of confidence as he listened and as the rain pounded outside his house. It was during a time when Hurricane Allison was moving in, and as the rain pounded and pounded, it slowly started rising. Anthony sat on his bed, and his comfort quickly turned to fear, because he watched the water come into his house and rise up, eventually coming to the surface or the top of his bed. And Anthony realized that he could not swim. The reason he couldn't swim is because he only had one leg, and he realized that if you've got one leg, you can't swim. As a matter of fact, he realized that there were a lot of things he couldn't do. He couldn't play basketball, he couldn't play baseball, he couldn't play football. And eventually, as the water was overtaking his bed, his mother was able to get in there and rescue him when she found a way that she could finally and safely get Anthony out of that situation. And because of the fear that he experienced, she realized she's got to do something for him, because she did not want her child to grow up in prison by this fear that he couldn't swim or couldn't do a lot of things. So she went to the YMCA to enroll him in a summer camp. And when she got to the YMCA, she realized at that particular point in time, she did not have the necessary means to enroll him in the camp. So the YMCA got in touch with my wife, and they told her the story about Anthony, and she wanted to be a part of Anthony's life. So she made a contribution, and Anthony got into swim lessons, and in the summer camp, he learned how to swim. And during the process of learning how to swim, he set a goal for himself. And one of his goals was he wanted to become a YMCA lifeguard. And at the end of the summer camp, not only did Anthony learn how to swim, but he learned how to play baseball and football and basketball. And it was very common to walk into the gymnasium and see Anthony on the court shooting hoops. And he was very quick to challenge anybody that came through in a game of horse. At the end of the summer camp, Anthony's mother had tracked my wife and I down and wanted to meet with us. We weren't sure what the meeting was about. But as we met with her, she presented us with this. We weren't sure what it was at first, other than a bird, but she said, I want to provide you with this, because of your contribution to the YMCA, you provided my child with wings, and he thinks he can fly and accomplish almost anything. And when you give to the YMCA, you help children accomplish hopes and dreams. You provide them with wings. It's amazing the sights that they can soar to.
Thank all the volunteers we have recognized tonight, and those who have served and continue to serve the Y. I heard a quote the other day that reminded me of the volunteers in this room, and it goes, I judge myself not by what I have, but what I am willing to give. And I think that epitomizes everybody in this room, and the volunteers and the YMCA staff. Thank you all for celebrating with us tonight. I would like to thank those individuals who made this event possible. I would also like to thank the testimonial speakers who are featured in our videos tonight. If you were one of our testimonial speakers, can you please stand and be recognized?
Yes.
Special thanks goes to our videographer, Stuart Holton, photographer, Aaron Hogan, audio-visual, American AV, and the marketing interns who helped us put this event together. Thank you for all your hard work on this event. I also want to thank Bob Jacobs. He's such an asset to our association, and his staff, Shanna, Kristen, Tessica, Zeke, Kristen. You'll do a great job at this event. Appreciate it. Again, thank you for all of you attending. Please take a paint can with you when you leave as a token of our appreciation for celebrating with us tonight, and have a good and safe night. Thank you.